What's on, man?
What is on?
These are definitely.
Yes.
One of these.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Here.
Cheers. Okay. There you go.
Straight one for myself first.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. And we're back.
Cheers,
dude.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Tasty.
That is tasty.
Play the song.
Let's get the song on.
Okay. See if we can remember the lyrics. Ever climbed a mountain, ever caught a fish, ever looked to the stars and made a wish, ever shot a bow and arrow in the dead of night, ever read a map, ever flew a kite, ever played a song, ever tried to run a marathon, ever put yourself to the test. Do your best. Do your best.
We didn't do our best there.
That was great. What was that middle bit? I forgot. It was.
Should we do it again?
Should we try it one more time? We'll get it right this time.
We'll try it again.
Okay. Ever climbed a mountain, ever caught a fish, ever looked to the stars and made a wish, ever shot a bow and arrow in the dead of night, ever read a map, ever flew a kite, ever made a fire, ever sang a song, ever tried to run a marathon, ever put yourself to the test. Do your best. Do your best. That was a lot better.
That was much better.
I like the fact though.
We'll start from the second one.
I kind of like the idea of showing the failure and then showing. I heard a great quote the other day from Truman Capote. It was, "Failure is the condiment that makes success tasty."
I want that burger.
I thought that was really nice though. It actually made me immediately feel better about all the failures in life.
Condiment that makes success tasty.
I don't know if he actually said tasty. He might have said flavourful or something. Something like, maybe tasty isn't the kind of word that a fancy man like Capote would use.
Yeah.
You know, but,
so what's Capote?
Capote is the guy who wrote In Cold Blood. So he kind of in a way, but he also wrote what's that classic one, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah. Okay.
But obviously,
I'm like, what's Capote?
What's Capote?
But what's Capote? It's
remember,
a tasty dish.
Do you remember Philip Seymour Hoffman plays him in that movie Capote as well, which is actually really good. I don't know if you've seen it. But
it does sound like an Italian meal.
It does, yeah. In Cold Blood,
condiment, actually.
All condiment, yeah. In Cold Blood was important because it was like the first ever true crime novel of its kind. So he involves himself in the actual crime. So he goes and interviews the actual criminals involved.
Yes.
And is involved in their trial.
I know exactly what you mean.
So it's quite.
I do know what you mean. Yeah, we've spoken about that before. So it's okay to just put. Yeah, we'll just put it all in.
We'll just put it all in. Yes.
Yeah.
What, both songs?
Yeah, right on.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Yeah.
Deal with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, get through it.
Exactly.
We had to go through it.
We had to go through it. Now you do too, with your ears. What I was going to say was you just got back from holiday.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
If that's English. You just got back from holiday.
That's English, yeah.
Is
you
it?
just got back off holiday. You just got back on your holidays.
So we've talked briefly about it. So where did you go exactly?
Went to Granada.
Granada.
Or Granada.
Granada. See, I only know Granada from the early days of like ITV
Honestly,
television.
that's why I wanted to go.
I assumed it was a place.
I didn't want to admit that.
I assumed it was a place on the Thames because doesn't it say Granada and then you've just got like this grey kind of the Thames floating by.
Yeah, I think it was something like that, man. Like, I think I used to think it was like aerials.
Right.
A whole city of aerials.
Oh, Christ, that sounds amazing, yeah.
Yeah, man, I loved it.
Sounds terrifying.
It's a nice place. It's Moorish.
Yeah.
You know, not.
Oh
like,
yes, I remember. Yeah, right.
Not like crack. Yeah.
Not like crack, but Moorish, like as in the Moors who affected it. Interesting.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I think it's like well known for it. It's got like Jewish community and Muslim community and Christian community, and they're all quite close together.
Wow.
So it's really cool. Like, so you know, you're in Spain, but you're eating hummus. I mean, that happens anyway. But
but is it represented in the architecture then? So you've got like a building that will look really Arabic, and then all of a sudden it will look really Jewish. It will look really
it's like kind of classics. You know, like I don't know what I mean by classic Spain because I've only been to a few bits of. I haven't been to like. I guess I haven't been to proper Spain.
Yeah,
proper
exactly.
Spain.
Yeah. I've only been, with you that one time, which is very close to what? Not Magaluf.
It's close to Benidorm. We went to Alicante.
Yeah, exactly.
Close to Benidorm, but
that can't be real Spain if it's close
Granada's
to...
really nice, man. Yeah, it was wicked. Lots of like... it was just some really nice... Like, we were only away for a couple of days. We wanted to get away before the baby.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we haven't done this for such a long time.
Yeah,
there's a baby on the way.
So much has happened. So now you've become a real man.
You'll be a real Uncle Bob.
Oh gosh, I hope so. That would do my
You probably
heart
already
good.
are, aren't you?
No,
yeah. You're actually an uncle, probably.
That would be amazing. That would be incredible. What was I going to say though? Yeah, so that's crazy.
I know, man.
We've never, neither of us have ever had such responsibility in our life.
I know. I'm super cool about it. I'm excited.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It will be the making of me, probably.
Yeah, I think the only responsibility I've ever had is not to directly attempt to destroy my own body on a regular basis, which I've so far dwindled
that's
everywhere.
What we're doing today, man.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
drinking Beavertown Lazercrush.
Alcohol-free IPA.
Yeah, and it's really good.
It's really tasty.
It's
I'm
really
really
good,
enjoying
isn't
it. Yeah, and it does feel wholesome. It doesn't feel like I'm going to get It doesn't feel like I'm going to get fucked up, which is nice. It also doesn't make me deliberately thirst for like I must get a version of this with the alcohol content in it because it's tasty.
Yeah. So episode 6, we haven't been around for a few months. Is it season 2? The decor has changed.
I'm happy to suggest that any time there's a small feng shui change in tables or chairs, it's a new season completely.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
Me too. What changes in season 2?
Yeah, I do.
What happens?
Well, you've got a baby.
I've got a baby.
I'm not sure it's really different.
Yeah, you got a new hat.
I got a new hat. Yeah, wearing a jacket now.
That jacket's fucking awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I think weirdly it makes me.
I've got longer hair actually.
You got longer hair. That's true. Before it was more of like a buzz.
Yeah. If you were to look at the last episode and then this episode, I bet it looks like a long time.
Like 10 years have actually passed. Yeah. I think this jacket does make me look somewhat more like a deadbeat dad, though. That's my fear.
Yeah, that's cool though.
That's
a cool look.
It's a cool look.
It's not a cool thing, but it's a cool look. It reminds me. That jacket reminds me of the film Big.
Big, right. Does he have a little jacket?
I don't know what it is, but like when the shimmy shimmy cocoa pop, shimmy shimmy do you remember that?
I kind of remember.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They like have a song that they know together, and it's they sing it like, and then when he becomes big, he like goes over to his friend, and he's like saying to his friend like, and his friend I think grows up to be the fixer in Reservoir Dogs, right?
Oh wow!
Like,
is this the crossover event from Big to Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah. I think so. I think that's who the actor is. But anyway, when they're kids, they're like, shimmy shimmy cocoa pop. Blah, blah, blah. What? I wish I knew the bloody song.
What is this like crimping, where they like crimp together on a
cocoa
pop?
I guess they kind of like it's not. They might not even be cocoa pops, but they're kind of crimping together. They know this song is their thing. It's like it's like a handshake, a secret handshake. They do it together.
They do it together, and then
when he wishes to be big and then becomes big, he goes to see his friend, but he's like naked because he's got no clothes that fit him. Right? He's kind of like right, and then he's there, and then he's like essentially what it seems like is the boy is about to be abused by Tom Hanks.
Oh my gosh!
Right, because the boy's like, "What's going on here? Who's this man?" And he's like, "It's me, it's your buddy." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy." And then he's like, the kid's like, which would be some pretty fucking sort of
terrifying technique.
That would be bespoke,
bespoke abuse.
Shouldn't it? But it would be, of Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But like, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that film. They wear those like cool, like football dudes wear those American football dudes.
Yeah, like an American football jersey.
If it was like, but in a cooler way, it's a way cooler one. It would be like the one that the cool guy that smokes like those cloves. The guy that smokes cloves and hangs out like underneath the stadium while the game's on. That's what it's like.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Selling some sort of illicit drug, like that guy in The Faculty who's always selling biros full of some mysterious drug.
Oh, that's great, man. Josh Hartnett.
Yeah. I swear I actually saw him in something recently, and I thought, God, he's all right. He's doing okay. He's one of those actors that goes off grid occasionally.
He's cool,
and you're like, Josh, you all right, mate? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, it happened to Brendan Fraser famously for a long time. We know why. Somebody touched his arse.
Yeah.
very unfortunate. But he's back now with a arse bigger than ever as well, which is
Get
glorious, you know.
Yeah, some boy.
But yeah, so that's good.
Josh Hartnett, he turned up in Sin City for a bit, being a cool guy.
He did, yeah. That was kind of the last big thing, wasn't it?
Talking about drugs, I've got some. No, it's like I haven't. Literally 0%.
Wholesome boys drinking 0% were like, we've got drugs.
We've got loads of them. Just paracetamol and ibuprofen. I can't pronounce that.
Nice.
What was I reading earlier? Some YouTube guy has been arrested for allegedly supplying a party he was at with a shit ton of snake venom.
Oh my god! Wow.
To use as a recreational drug.
Oh wow! Did people take it?
I don't know. I don't know. But this is what's happened. He's been arrested for allegedly.
Wow.
So I don't know if you can get high on snake venom or not. But sounds like something this character would be doing, doesn't it? Like,
isn't there some crazy story with Michael J. Fox and someone where Michael J. Fox and somebody else, and I can't remember who the other actor is, and they're getting fucked up in like an African tiki hut taking snake venom or something.
Here we go.
They're drinking snake blood or something or whatever.
Charlie Sheen used to drink that shit.
Was it Charlie Sheen and Michael J. Fox together? That sounds quite credible.
That's a team.
That sounds like something that really happened.
Yeah, that definitely happened.
For sure. Mysterious drugs. Yeah. What was I reading in the news? So in Scotland, land of mysterious drugs, in a sort of residential neighbourhood, like an estate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's a little estate. 2 porcupines were spotted last week. And I think various different sightings of the porcupines. And eventually it turned out there was a local zoo that had these porcupines for a couple of weeks. And they had ripped the steel doors off the inside of the enclosure, which is... Just to hear the phrase "rip the steel doors," like apparently they're strong as fuck.
At least some sonic motherfuckers.
Exactly, yeah, literally. And they've gone out and just started roaming across Scotland. They went really far. They went hours and hours away.
Oh man, how did they find them? What, just because they didn't know?
They apparently the porcupine stuck together, which is endearing onto itself. And there's so many sightings. Eventually, they rounded them up.
They didn't just have bits of like metal or like sort of on them. Like,
no, that would be cool. Like they actually looks like fucking Wolverine. Exactly. Yeah. No, sadly not. But they did get caught. But that must have been quite an interesting.
It's like breaking out.
Reminds me of that sketch in Brass Eye where they've got the baboon to deliver the drugs like door to door or whatever. Do you remember that? But anyway, so I started researching porcupines after that. Learned a couple of interesting things about them. Oh, yeah. A baby porcupine is called a porcupet, which I thought was quite sweet.
That's super cute, man.
But also, so basically, Native Americans used to use the spines of porcupines for a kind of sewing, so that they could sew like elaborate headdresses and loads of things.
Total sense.
And the way they would do that,
they're the original needle.
How would you reckon that a porcupine you could get the spines off without killing a porcupine?
Without killing it?
Without killing it, how could you get the spines off? Yeah.
Oh man, okay. Without killing it, that is tough. I would assume some sort of hot water could get them off.
Let's give them a bath.
That would include really hot water, which would kill it. Is there like either like a secret handshake or some kind of like under the armpit tickle, some sort of 5-finger death punch without the death?
That's actually a really good bet. I think I would probably go on for some kind of tickle, like tickle them in the right place and they'll all come out. But actually what they would do is a lot simpler. The Native American women would go over to the porcupine where it was unawares, just drop a blanket on it. And the blanket would go over the top. It would freak out, shoot its spines through the top of the blanket, then they just take the blanket off.
Oh,
and they
great.
got all the spines, and then the porcupine just runs away.
Problem with that though, is the first time they did it, they didn't have a blanket.
What do you mean?
Well, because they would have needed to sew the blanket first.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh no, they didn't sew everything out of the spines. It was a certain kind of sewing. I see what you're getting at.
Originally.
Yeah, it had to be. I see what you mean. Yeah, who starts the? What is it? What came first, the chicken or the egg? The blanket
one porcupine. Like, What are they called? Needles?
Yeah.
They're called needles. They're OG needles.
Yeah.
So needles were probably named after porcupine needles.
Well, so I was looking at the Latin of porcupine. Pork literally means swine, like pig.
Okay. I guess and come well like
the upine or whatever basically means like what's it called? Where you with a feather, like quill, just means quill.
Oh, nice.
So like pig with quills, essentially.
Oh, nice. Pencil pigs.
Pencil pigs, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Nice.
The other thing I learned about them is apparently they taste terrible. The only people who would enjoy the taste of porcupine are people who really like strong cheese. And get this. This is my final. This is my final note on porcupine.
Cheesy meat.
This is my final note on porcupine. So apparently, in the state of Maine, it's illegal to hunt porcupine in the forest, just in case there's ever a massive food shortage and you need to like chow down on a porcupine when there's nothing else left. And some dude like 100 years ago said like undoubtedly like a good law. However, I believe nobody in the state of Maine would appreciate this law unless it was either at least the choice was either death or porcupine. Because of how bad they taste.
Oh man,
yeah.
Like that reminded me of, we've spoken about Parasites quite a lot. There is a link here. It's there's a guy that's got some sort of tapeworm larvae in his brain.
Oh my gosh, did we talk about that? I feel
we
like
talked
we did.
about stuff like this.
I feel
spiders
like we
in the brain.
spiders in the brain.
But it's just, this is quite recent, and it's only because we're talking about pork. But they think that the way these larvae the tapeworm larvae got into this guy's brain is through undercooked bacon.
Oh my gosh. Christ.
So that's just public. That's just a public
service announcement.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's just festering around a pig's body, and then you just eat it without cooking it, and bam.
Somehow it gets into the brain.
Yeah. I guess we probably then talked about that poor fellow who ate that slug as well, and then died years later.
We may have. I don't think we did though.
We've
You've told me about it.
Yeah, I've told you about it. Yeah. So there was a fellow in Australia who, as a dare, ate a slug. And then literally like 4 years later, he came down with a bizarre condition. Doctors couldn't diagnose it. And then they said, have you eaten anything unusual in like the last 4 years? And he was like, well, I ate a slug. And they were like, oh no. And it was like just a normal household slug. It wasn't like some sort of crazy indigenous special magic slug. It just carried a rare parasite within it that literally there was no known cure for.
Oh man.
The poor fellow perished.
Bless him.
So yeah, goes to show. One of those dares that really did.
Yeah.
I would have easily done something like that had I not heard that story. Probably not eating a slug there. That probably would actually draw the line there. But
no, you just keep them under your armpits.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Batman Begins of Bob. Me in the garden with slugs in my armpits. Yeah, and eggs in my mouth, just like in ecstasy.
Just writhing around in pure pleasure.
Exactly. Yeah. Another creature that's on the loose, bizarrely.
4 years old, full tash.
Yeah, exactly. Full tash. But another creature that's on the loose, bizarrely, in Exeter, is a wallaby. So there's a wallaby, and it's just been literally fucking around people's gardens. They can't capture it yet. Apparently, they're trying to like lay loads of traps, like nice traps, like food traps, to try to get it. But that then sent me down a rabbit hole that apparently there are wallabies everywhere. There are wallabies in Cornwall.
What, just hanging out?
Yeah, in various different places because they just keep escaping private collections and shit. And apparently it's accepted. There are some areas like in France, there's a whole forest where it was actually not that far away from the one from like Waterloo or whatever, where the Battle of Waterloo was. They're just like is a forest where they knock about, and they don't try to exterminate them or anything. They just accept them as like a part of them.
They're right. They're like a wallaby's like a kind of, it's a marsupial, right?
It's like a tiny kangaroo.
Is it a tiny kangaroo?
It basically is. They're a part of the same family, so they do everything kind of similar. But for some reason, they're a lot more of a protected species than the kangaroos. The Australians don't give a fuck about the kangaroos, really.
I think they're kind of hardcore, though, aren't they? Like, it's different. I mean, the outback's probably different.
Yeah.
They'd probably care about a kangaroo walking around Sydney.
Yeah, well, they would. Yeah,
they care then.
They would probably exterminate.
They give a fuck. Yeah. Well, they exterminate them anyway, don't they? Actually,
I think they
that's
do.
What you're saying. They don't give a fuck.
Whereas with wallabies, they're such a protected species. You can't eat their meat in anywhere else in Australia other than Tasmania.
They've probably got big eyes. They're
cute. I think they are cute. I was reading a thing earlier that was indicating that. Yeah, it's funny. We don't want to sacrifice things that are adorable.
Have big eyes.
And for good reason.
Yeah, because they're adorable.
Keeps us wholesome.
Yeah, which is nice.
Check. Yeah, for sure.
Do you drink a lot of non-alcoholic beers?
No, this is actually the first one I've had in probably since the last one you gave me, which was I think wasn't it Budweiser or something? Budweiser Zero or something? No, I can't remember what it was.
Oh, that is trash. That's really not good.
No, this is a lot nicer. I think the attempt to recreate what an IPA tastes like just tastes generally better.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. I was going to get lucky saying they're pretty good. Original, like the Punk AF
Yeah.
I was going to get them, but I just thought I didn't want to be seen drinking Brewdog. I don't know why.
Well, they've got I think they don't have the best rap because they did all that stuff where they were trying to get everyone to invest in their stocks and shares, weren't they? They're like, yo, it's punk to invest or whatever. Because funny enough, this was
literally they said it like that as well.
Yeah, I think it was before
kids.
I feel like because before people were really properly everyone was into crypto as well. So now it kind of is punk to be into crypto, but not necessarily to invest in a big beer company. I don't know. It's a bit like investing in milk or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
And being like, yo, that's punk to invest in milk. It's what is it punk? What is it punk?
When you asked me the other day, when we were talking about milk, the milkman, and you were like, not our milkman, but generally, I've been thinking about it a lot.
What, do milkmen still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, Ollie said that, yes, there's a milkman on his street, but I believe him, of course, but is that the only milkman?
Here's the question. Are milkmen essentially like hitmen for hire in that they decide they're like, you know what, or like mercenaries, they're like, you know what, I'm going to be a milkman. I know there's a milk factory down there. I'm going to buy a cart. I'm going to insure it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down to the milk factory every day, cut a little deal with them. And basically he's not hired by anyone. He's just doing his own
self-employed.
Milk deals. Yeah,
self-employed.
He's essentially like a dealer of milk.
Yeah, yeah. I guess in a lot of ways, that's all business is. Unless you're doing a service, I wouldn't.
Do I have another one?
Help yourself. Yeah, it's for you. Unless you're doing a service, essentially business is buy one thing, sell it for more, right? I was talking about this earlier. But that is essentially it. It's very boring, but everything is just being a dealer. Just like when you're dealing illegal things, you're a dealer.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing non-illegal things, you're David Dickinson.
Yeah, for sure. But then you get corporations like Monsanto or whatever, where they make all of your they make you buy their seeds and fuck up your land so you can only ever be in their pocket.
Yeah.
So technically, even if you have your own independent organisation,
you're
owned by a larger conglomerate. Yeah. That's the case with McDonald's or KFC.
If you want a simple business, I was thinking there's probably rules about buying and selling paracetamol, but because it's a medicine, right? But is there any rules of buying, I don't know, dairy milk bars, and just melting it down and putting it into little tiny Bob and Joe shapes and just selling off little figurine chocolates?
That's so interesting.
Is there any rule on that?
I think the rule would be that you've appropriated somebody else's product.
Yeah, but haven't they bought all they've done is
buy milk, buy whatever.
Yeah, they just bought.
Sources.
Isn't that Jim's milk and fucking Dave's?
Funny enough, I feel like as soon as you added one ingredient to it, you might actually be able to get away with it.
That's what I mean. So couldn't you go and buy a pint of milk from Lidl?
Yeah.
Come home and pour it into gorgeous.
Yeah.
Glass bottles.
Yeah.
And just sell it for 5 times the amount with a new label.
It's interesting.
And call it Bob's Milk, although that does exist.
It does actually.
But
it makes me think about the.
Is that what Bob's doing though? Is Bob just going, well, give me some milk? I'm
rebranding it. Yeah, sure. There are loads of examples of that, aren't there? Where it's the same product, but they've just rebranded it with their name.
Paracetamol. I believe. Like Nurofen, right?
Yeah,
you can get ibuprofen for also 16p.
Also, that shitty gin company I briefly worked for as well. They all of their gin that they send, for instance, if you go to Sainsbury's or Lidl, you're actually buying gin that might be their gin, but then it's just got the label on it that says it's Lidl's. So they've just rebranded it, but it's actually from that company. In turn, when those guys first started, and I think still to this day, they often will just buy Sainsbury's gin and just on mass, and pour it into vats, and then they do all the botanical shit to that to make it because that raw gin, they just need it to be as cheap as possible.
Exactly. So there's no rule. You can do that.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah,
you can just do that. Yeah, just buy orangeade, put it in a different bottle.
Yeah,
sell it as Fanta.
But what if, for instance, but there's this, I mean, maybe it's just part of the lore, the mythology of fast food, but wasn't there always a story about Burger King, KFC and shit having like secret spices. KFC are always like, oh, we got 6 secret spices.
Yeah, but that's just, I mean, it might be true, but it's just, they're not secret.
But what if
they're
I
not
found...
like new spices, are they? They're spices we've heard of.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not like their own secret.
It's their own blend. It's their own blend.
Exactly.
But,
so
okay,
that
so
means
let's
nothing.
say I discovered the blend. Let's say somehow I do the ultimate chicken heist.
You can easily Google
I
it.
climb into the Colonel's house at night and like spelunking down like Tom Cruise.
Catch him down there.
Yeah, with my greasy fingers, it's still eating chicken while I'm floating down, you know. Yeah, exactly. And I go down there, I go in the safe, I like listen to it, 1-800-CHICKEN.
Yeah.
And open the little hatch. Inside there's just like a little envelope, and inside I've got the 6 secret spices or whatever.
Yeah.
The blend, the exact blend, down to like the whatever.
Yeah.
So then I get that, I start making my own chicken.
Yeah.
With that formula.
Yeah.
Let's say I just put the envelope right back in that hatch as well, so they don't even know I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then somebody like, you know, all of a sudden the Colonel's in town, he takes a little bite of that chicken and he's like, what the fuck? How did this guy know my like secret blend of herbs and spices? Now is that a copyright issue?
Well, no, because he goes, oh, what are you using in that? Yeah. You go, secret.
I feel what would happen is just suddenly one night in my hotel room while I'm laying in like, you know, my bed of like chicken dollars, I'm just swimming around, I would just be subtly assassinated by someone, just strangled to death by a man
by
in
a
white...
greasy Colonel.
Yeah, exactly, with leather gloves.
You just have to cover yourself in so much grease that you can't get a grip.
Yeah, it's slippery. I just slip out the window like... Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just empty your pockets of grease and slide down the building.
Just slide down the little. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be glorious.
Yeah, bit boring. Talking about business, but I'm pretty sure that's all business is. Like, just like buy some flowers for cheap, sell them for more.
Yeah, it sounds like
That's
a lot of side hustles are like that as well. You hear stories about people, they've just got an online thing where they buy, for instance, they might buy a whole bunch of shit off Temu or whatever, which costs literally nothing, and then they'll just sell that to somebody. And like, I mean, a really good example as well. I bought one of those. What are they called? Well, I don't actually think they've got a fucking name. It's like it's a clam with like a ball inside, and it's got like disco lights that come out of the clam. And it's really quite special. It's also got like, I think it has
I have no idea what this is.
It also has like kind of like a snow globe effect in the inside of it.
Is it a light?
It's basically a light.
Yeah.
But it kind of changes its ambient colours. Anyway, so I've got one of these. But
fantastic.
So it is really quite fantastic. Yeah. But when you go to a shop in town, let's say, you can get one of those for about 30 quid.
Yeah.
But if you go on eBay, you could get that for like 7 quid or 8 quid.
Okay, yeah.
But then presumably the guy on eBay has probably fucking got that from Temu for like £2. So there's just this cycle of everyone's making a slight profit. Yeah, and obviously buying things in person is always more expensive than buying them on the internet for whatever reason.
Always.
Which is
pretty much always.
Pretty much. What examples are there of things that would be cheaper if you bought them in person?
So
nuts.
I think like, what did you say?
Nuts.
Like
if you went to like a wholesale shop, if you
ordered
like
a whole bunch of bolts, or
no, I meant like actual almonds. If you ordered almonds online, like a kilo of almonds, would it probably be cheaper if you got them in person? I don't know.
I think if you
this is a real tedious conversation.
Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. But I'm still going to go on with it. Yeah. I think that if you got like a spatula on Amazon in a days, you could go, that looks like a good spatula, and like get it £8.50, nice, next day delivery,
sorted.
But I reckon you could walk straight into Jim's Cash and Gary, £2.50.
Really? Yeah.
So I just said Jim's Cash and Gary. I realised that it broke.
That's just a dodgy guy who works around the back. He'll do you cheap deal. He'll do you a cheap deal on spatulas. He's just like £2, mate.
Or like a Poundland. You could go straight into a Poundland. £1.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
that's true. Poundland is a rare example of that.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. Season 2's kicking off with quite a lot.
It's really kicking off. Kicking off with a lot of fucking dull chat.
Lot of dull shit
about business, stealing the secret spices from the Colonel.
God,
it's so
We
interesting.
got a light though.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, fix the light.
Yeah.
That's quite beautiful. Right. Yeah, we'll get some more lights in there at some point.
Yeah,
the decor is looking better. The feng shui is better than ever.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah. Can I ask, when you were in Spain, did you go past the bullfighting arena at all?
No, I did want to make my way down there, but we just didn't.
I thought it would have been so big in Malaga that it would have been like this kind of town. Is it not?
No, I imagine. I did hear from some other people that like approached us in the airport on the way home. You get people that do that, right?
What they come over and they're like...
And they just talk to you about, like, their holiday.
Are you sure these weren't the Men in Black? They're trying to interview you.
They're just like, people that do that. There's people that do that.
Yeah, they're just like, we've had a lovely holiday.
Yeah. Oh, where
did you go?
Did you go on the boat and see the dolphins? No, I didn't. I didn't know there were... We weren't even there with the... We were somewhere else, and then they were like, we didn't like it there. And they're like...
Oh, great.
You're like, I don't care.
Wonderful.
You're talking to me. I like it there.
Yeah,
I don't want to go...
Let me review what you did on your holiday.
I don't want to be in the marina.
I had a fabulous time. What about you?
Yeah, and he's like, only €15, mate. And you're like, yeah, it sounds great.
Great.
It fucking sounds awful. And you don't want to say to them, because you're in the airport and you don't want to make it. You don't want to go, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fuck off over there.
Yeah, there's something quite grotesque about comparing each other's lives or experiences
just
like
go
that
away.
as well.
Like, we're gonna tell you about stuff that we enjoyed, and you're not gonna like the way that food tastes.
No, exactly.
So fuck off.
It's also a bit similar if you say to someone, I went to Miami, and they're like, yeah, been there. You're like, okay, yeah, great. Oh, I went and saw done that. You're like, okay, so we're not going to have a conversation here, are we? Is that what's happening here? Yeah. Are you just... is this some kind of fucking... What's that, like, I Spy list where you just, like, check off what you fucking...
I heard a good saying. Someone said that, like, you tell them that you've been to Tenerife and they say they've been to 11 Reef.
That's so true. That's so true. I think there is just a weird human desire of one-upmanship, especially around men.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain this phenomenon about...
This guy that was talking to me,
he
was sat like that and he was talking to me like that. he was like, oh yeah, did you go down there? Did you go? So he wasn't looking at me. He was looking at me like through his eye, and I was looking at him. Yeah. So I'm looking at him like this, and he's looking at me like that. So I'm looking right at him, looking sideways at me, and all I can see is his eye just moving and being like, that's €15, and then he's going like, "Want it, Sharon?" And I was like, "This
just crank your neck round, you weirdo.
Just leave me alone. Just go somewhere else." I didn't see the bull ring though. I wish I had. He did. He had seen the bull ring.
The bull ring, right? Yeah. I mean, to be fair, what probably happened was he just went to a big empty stadium though. Which is like,
I don't think. I mean, I'd like to see a
so
bull ring.
I imagine it like it's actually like the Roman Colosseum, but I don't think it's going to be like that. It's going to be more like a football stadium with some sand in the bottom, isn't it? That's what I predict.
Yeah.
More like a big Zen garden without the rake. You know what I mean? But it would be exciting to see nonetheless. So you went to the Picasso Museum.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
That was really,
and he was,
really
of course,
nice.
fucking well into bullfighting.
Yeah.
Did that...
And born in Malaga.
Which makes sense. So he would have been like probably really young when he saw his first bullfight.
Yeah, we saw that on the way back. Granada's about an hour away from Malaga on a fast train. Mm-hmm. So and you can fly there.
Incredible.
It's easy to fly to Malaga. Cheap to fly there. Generally.
In the Picasso Museum, was there anything that you learned about Picasso that you're like, holy shit, that's interesting about him?
No, I wish there was, man. I'm not much of my attention span. I don't think is good enough, or I'm lazy. Bit of both.
I tend to do that in art galleries though. I don't really read the blurbs these days. I just look at it.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time I spend time like looking at like corners of walls and stuff and seeing if people will like watch.
Will come and join you.
Yeah, or if like they'll think like, look at that guy, look, he's looking at a fucking blank wall.
He's gone wrong.
He thinks that's the art, doesn't he? Like if they haven't put a piece of work on one of the blank walls, I'll get Jodie along and I'll go, stand with me. Look, we just both look at the. Then we're both like look at the painting like. Well, there's no painting. Just look at a wall.
Look at the wall.
Or like when one of the, the people, the Invigilators, are that what they're called?
Yeah.
When one of those guys, Dave Berman used to be one.
Oh, did he? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that
New
makes
York,
sense.
him and Steve. Right, and like when one of them gets up off their little chair, I'll go over and like look at the chair and be like, wow, and then like get and I hope people think that I think it's a Picasso. So I just spend time doing that, or like they tell people off for like walking over like the little line on the floor that's too close to the painting. So I go around like putting my foot about that far over it, taking pictures of my feet over the lines, and then sending them to Jodie.
That's the most tedious mischief.
It's the worst, but it's the only reason I can have fun because it's kind of boring. It's great to like being face to face with like a Picasso. Though I was like, this is amazing. It's fucking Picasso.
I always feel weird if you're really close to a painting and it's not protected by glass or something, which it usually isn't.
Yeah.
And you think, I could just fucking touch
I'm just
that.
going to lick that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I always think that, yeah. But that also reminds me classically of the story about when the first time the Mona Lisa was stolen. Which was by a guy. He literally just put it under his coat. He wasn't a sophisticated criminal. It was in the middle of the day.
Brilliant.
He just literally just put it under his coat.
It's tiny, isn't it?
It's tiny, yeah.
Yeah.
And more people came to see the empty void on the wall of where the Mona Lisa was than had ever come to see the Mona Lisa in its own. It's what made it famous. We wouldn't even really consider it an important painting today.
Without that first...
if it wasn't for its theft, yeah, it was that empty thing on the walls. Wow. It was a major... Actually, I believe he'd worked in the gallery or used to work there. He felt bad about it. He brought it back the next week.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he was like, fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore. There's still some weird ones, though, isn't there? There was that one in Boston where... just like peculiar things were stolen. It was like the top of a banister that had like a little eagle on it.
That wasn't even artwork.
That was chiseled off. Wasn't even an artwork. And also the artworks that were stolen was like a really minor, also small Da Vinci,
right?
Which was sliced out of its frame with an X-Acto knife.
That's great. That's a great
X-Acto knife. What do you call it?
That's a good name for it.
I fucked it up. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So basically, obviously, it's missing half the bits around the edge, and all of the other paintings.
That's great though. I love that art theft.
Yeah,
can cut it out.
Just slice it out. Yeah, and they never found the guys that did it as well, and they were all lesser known, not particularly were the ones that were worth the most money as well. Yeah. Very odd. Wicked
museum though, really cool. Really not that big, so great. So you can sort of go in, walk around it, 45 minutes to an hour. You can walk quickly. Nice.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
You know,
I don't know much about Picasso. I know that the Modern Lovers song or whatever about him being an asshole or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
I think he was a womanizer, right? There's the one story I know, which is that he was trying to get a wardrobe made. So he went to the carpenter and did a little sketch of the wardrobe. And the guy said, "Yeah, I can build you this wardrobe." And Picasso said, "How much?" He said, "No, that's fine. If you just sign your name on underneath the sketch there, or just take that." And then like years later, managed to sell it.
That is the life. Yeah, that's the life,
isn't that? Yeah.
I was watching a program the other day, some food program, and they were looking at this little Spanish place, and there was a guy sitting outside. He wasn't like very well known in the world, but he's well known in this little town, little artist guy, and he's there, and the guy who's doing the program is talking to this artist guy and just about art really, and about like how and the food in this place, and the guy's like, the little artist guy is like, you know, I get to eat here for free, you know, like forever, not just today, just forever, because they like my artwork, you know. And he likes the chef, the lady there, and she comes out and she's like, yeah, he can eat here for free forever.
Wow.
And I was like, that's the best reason to become an artist.
That's so beautiful.
And I just thought there's something beautiful about that. You combine that with getting cupboards for free. What a great day.
Yeah, you know exactly. I mean? Yeah.
And also, you can imagine that would happen down the greengrocers as well. They'd be like, yeah, have whatever you want, because you're not going to go in there and like get a full bag of 70 oranges. Yeah. You're going to take like 2 oranges and go, nice one, mate.
I think it's interesting though. I'm pretty sure if you pay for things by just bartering with paintings, it devalues them in the meantime, right? Something like that. I remember hearing about it because it took years before like Basquiat paintings became worth as much as they eventually were, because he was just handing them out.
Yeah.
So at first there was like an abundance of it, and it took it to all get split up and kind of sent around. I remember hearing some shit like that. I don't know, but among all the artists I've ever known, they're very happy to swap artworks and hand them out, because also there's a weird expectation among artists, I feel, that you're not really going to make it. You're just doing it because
100%.
You're just doing it because you fucking love it, and also,
I mean, you know, you're not going to.
Not with that attitude.
No,
so you're
but
not
that's you know, you're not going to. Probably not. There's a high chance you're not. And if you do, that's going to be a shame.
Yeah.
Hopefully it happens when you're old. You know.
Yeah, well, when all your friends are dead anyway.
Just like when you've already had your life.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know, otherwise, firstly, you probably won't be able to make anything that's any good.
Yeah.
And, like, surely all of the best work isn't realised until way later.
No, perhaps not.
You know, if people like love your stuff now, you better like, what's that? You know, if people tell you that you're brilliant, you better not listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
The one thing you should do out of everything is not listen to.
Yeah, because otherwise your ego inflates like this gigantic balloon.
Yeah. Whatever brilliance you may have had will be totally ruined in that moment.
I think the humble reality as well is, I mean, okay, when we look at what we find grotesque about modern art, conceptual contemporary art, it's that it's now used as a money counter, that the incredibly wealthy will buy like a Damien Hirst piece, not to exhibit it, or not even a Damien Hirst, that's a bad example, but they'll buy something whether it looks good or bad and they'll put it in storage. It's not there to be exhibited, it's there because it's worth a certain amount of money.
Yeah, I see some,
Whereas if we create an artwork, we hope that someone will actually have it in their home, that they will love it, and that it will become a part of their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like a completely different fucking thing.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of funny memes about that.
Like,
you know, can't wait for my artwork to be here, and it's like, just a picture of a basement filled with just loads of painting wrapped in parcel paper, just like underneath something, just being swapped. But I saw there was some cool stuff in there. There was some pretty cool sculptures. And like, because it's not just Picasso stuff. There's mainly not Picasso stuff. Just loads of other stuff that was quite cool.
I was reading as well. What I had no idea about with Picasso is that he actually co-invented collage, which is like, fucking hell, that's huge.
Okay.
He co-invented the art of just sticking loads of different images together.
I showed you that bit of collage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was
really funny.
Well, I never would have guessed that he was like one of the first guys to do that.
No.
Like, that's crazy. And also, apparently, he literally invented the 3D collage. So having like actual 3D objects coming out of like a two-dimensional thing together.
Right.
That was just his. Which I guess we'd call an assemblage.
I did notice not many people laughing as much as I was at those pictures. You know, people really taking that seriously. I was like, come on, this is hilarious.
Yeah, he would have found it funny.
There's no way he didn't find this funny. You know, they're images of, you know, like a model from like a 1950, like an illustration of a model sometimes of like a model in 1950s housewife kind of garb, and he's like cut her out and put her on a different thing and then drawn a tiny little version of him, like all messed up little gargoyle-y version of him, like fondling her bosom. You know, it's so funny. It's
so
obviously
silly. Satirical.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I think we all, most of us, many of us, sort of silently despise about contemporary art, that there is an air of seriousness surrounding it, which makes it deeply unfun and makes galleries boring as well.
Makes me not. Yeah. That's why it's just to be a bit silly makes the whole thing a lot more fun for me.
It's kind of like how in a library you've got to be quiet in a sense. It's like in a gallery you're supposed to be quiet. Why would you have to be quiet in a gallery?
I know.
Surely a gallery should be a space where you can openly talk about. Oh, look at this! It's incredible.
Be shocked or
wow!
Exactly,
Holy fucking shit! Why is that cow on top of that dog? And what's going on? Like you know, I don't know. But instead, it's that you have to be quiet so everybody's brains can work or something. So everyone's.
Do you know the name of the muse, the sort of 18-year-old muse that Picasso had for a little while? Can you remember her name?
No, it sounds classically what I've heard about Picasso.
Neither can I. I can't remember her name either.
Well, is she the one
Some
that's
of her
like?
work
Is
in
she?
St Ives at the moment.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, is she is it Nude Descending Staircase? Is that him? Is that Picasso? Fucking hell, probably isn't. That's probably like Duchamp or something. I don't know.
Duchamp.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
It's a show.
But that was actually probably one of. Yeah, that was cool. It was nice to go to. It was good to go to a gallery. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel. I mean, to be fair, the amount of times I've been around, like
Francis Bacon.
I mean, that's incredible.
That's
cool. Also the picture you showed me, like a portrait. That's definitely one of the best Bacons.
Yeah.
That's like so cool. I've seen one Bacon in person before. I've seen two actually.
Yeah.
I saw the three figures at the base of the crucifixion.
Yes.
You know, with the weird
that's amazing.
Creatures with a bright orange background.
That's the ones I think we were talking about that once. Like you were telling me about the X-rays.
Yeah. So when you X-ray those images, I think particularly on one of them, you can see there was a way more traditional just image of like Christ on the cross, and then these three weird little things underneath it. And Bacon was clearly like, "Fuck that," and just repainted over and just just focused on the figures, which is a brilliant idea because it works much better than showing this kind of image of Christ. It doesn't need it.
Yeah.
But also, apparently, I remember reading about it. The reason why that image that triptych was so shocking wasn't just that there were these grotesque forms. It's that because it's considered post-war painting. That's it. So it's just after World War War 1, right? World War
don't know.
1, World War 2. I don't know. I'm getting confused. But basically, it was the bright orange colour. That was what shocked people. People were like, holy shit! Because they had all these war paintings and there'd just be like images of like soldiers laying in trenches and stuff. And all of a sudden you've got these bright neon kind of orange backdrops, and that was what people were like immediately alarmed. And then these grotesque ears and forms,
amazing. There's they think there's a new Banksy turned up. You see that?
Is this the one that's like next to a tree? Like it's a tree that's missing its.
Yeah, they've like pollarded a tree, so they've taken the branches off it, so it kind of looks like a bendy hat stand.
Yeah.
And then behind it, it's kind of like green paint splashed.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
I thought it was cool.
Looks okay. What's the point? What's he trying to say?
Don't cut the trees because we like the colour green.
This is this is also the problem with Banksy. Is another issue with art I find is that it's like a one-trick pony. Like, this artwork is painted because it means this.
Yeah.
Like, like these children have a flag of Tesco as a they've got a Tesco bag on a flag because I'm making a comment about how capitalism affects children. It's like brilliant. And it's like what the Chapman brothers said one time. All it takes to understand this artwork is a single cell. All it takes to understand this artwork is a single celled amoeba with an eye, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to have the whole fortune cookie fucking explanation built into the painting.
I agree, man.
Anyway, I think that was a good. That was a good comeback.
Nice to be back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it's great.
Climbed a mountain, ever caught a fish, ever looked to the stars and made a wish, ever shot a bow and arrow in the dead of night, ever read a map, ever flew a kite, ever made a fire, ever sang a song, ever tried to run a marathon, ever put yourself to the test. Do your best. Very good. Very good.